On this week's show, Figures in 2.0, what happens when you die, and the winner of our JV Wreck-It Ralph giveaway. All this and more on episode number 47 of the Inside Infinity podcast.
All who come to this happy place, welcome.
We have often been asked, where do we get the ideas for our stories?
We really start with a blank sheet of paper.
I think that's what Infinity gives you, is the ability to be creative in a way that no one's ever seen before.
Hello everyone, this is Will with the Disney Infinity TV, bringing you episode number 47 of the Inside Infinity podcast. We have a great show ahead of you this week. We're going to be talking about some figures, some playset play, and more of our E3 coverage. But before we get to that, first off, we got to introduce my co-host for the week, Mr. Jason Haynes. Looks like, I don't know, maybe it's getting cold in his neck of the woods because he's grown a beard.
It was a little cold. That's a terrible Australian accent. What was that? That wasn't even close. I did so much better in the pre-show. Oh, I feel bad now. Can we start again?
Yes, let's try that again. Okay, so bringing you my co-host, my favorite Aussie, Mr. Jason Haynes.
Oh, good day, mate. Throw another shrimp on the barbie. Ha! That's not a knife. That's a knife. That's all I know. And I totally upset every Australian person watching this right now. I do apologize. They made me do it, Jason. It's not me.
Yes, we did. You're actually Lloyd Hannison, my favorite Canadian. Coming as filling in the shoes of Mr. Jason Haynes, who is plugging away on the website, so he was not able to make it tonight. But Lloyd from VGPodcast.com, thank you so much for taking control of the helm with me this week.
Hey, my pleasure. Thanks for having me again. It's good to be back on the show. It's been a while. I'm knee deep in soccer. Both my kids are playing soccer every single night of the week, so this is a rare treat to be able to do a podcast before like midnight. So this is a lot of fun.
Well, we are glad to have you, and thanks for rushing home, ignoring your kids, just so you can hang out with us.
Only for you, Will. Only for you.
Not the only person who ignores their kids. Our good friend, Mr. Steve Carell. I haven't seen you in a while. So glad to have you back on the show.
Thanks. Who's the other one you're talking about ignoring their kids? Because I'm an attentive father that does not just let their kids play downstairs while I record a show with you.
That's true. I mean, let's be honest. Half the times you're on the show, she's on the show, so that means you're inclusive.
Now let me ask you a very important question. What's better, what I'm doing right now, where it's quiet and she's downstairs with sharp objects in the Disney Channel, or the way that Jason does it, where randomly the door will burst open, little kids will come running in, and then you hear screaming in the background? What is more conducive to a better Inside Infinity show? You tell me, Will.
That's true.
All about quality.
That's true. Ignorance is bliss, because with Jason, I kind of like see him shut the door and kind of shoo them away. He's just muted. With you, the door's already shut, so we assume.
And dead bolted.
Awesome. Well, so happy to have you again, Steve. But you brought a special friend, a new guest host to the Inside Infinity podcast. Sarah, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi. I'm excited. Thanks for having me. I watch your show a couple of times because he got me started, and then he got me started in Infinity, so this should be interesting. I hope I could contribute enough.
Well, I'm sure you are. We are definitely glad to have you bringing something new to the show, and we kind of had a pre-show discussion where it sounds like you make fun of Steve C quite often, and so for that reason alone, you fit right in on the show. So. Yep.
So I've been told I fit in with lots of his friends because we all have that in common. We can all make fun of him. It's really easy. He makes it easy.
Yeah, but what is very unique about her, Will, is that she and you and Pirate and Lloyd, you guys raise it to an art form of making me feel completely horrible. So that's why I think it's going to be a good fit. I mean, if the show ends and I'm not crying, then it's not a good show. So.
Well, exactly. But here's the thing. You come back each and every week, so you must enjoy the punishment.
I do, a little bit. I kind of like it.
Awesome. Well, everyone, like I said before, we do have a fun show ahead of everyone. But before we get started with that, we just want to say hello to everyone who's watching and chatting live with us in the chat room. You can do that each and every week. You just got to go to DisneyInfinity.tv every Monday evening, 8 p.m. Mountain Time, and you can watch the show live and chat with us. Lots of people in there today, so unfortunately we can't run down the names, but we do see all the familiar faces. My favorite, though, is Sarah M. Fan, a new viewer in the show, and right below that we have Steve C. Fan Club, so we're just going to ignore that one. But welcome to everyone in the show.
I would never ignore anybody in this group, Will, because sooner or later it's not going to be me, and you're going to ignore one of your target audience.
That's true. So there's just something suspicious about that name, though. I don't know if we can trust it.
Why is it suspicious? Because they like me? Oh, I can see. This is already turning into a double of verbal abuse now.
Whoa! See, I took it as he was talking crap about me, but it's already deflecting. This is already working out. Take a little bit, Sarah.
I'm taking the name.
I was talking about the Steve Fan Club, but you know what? That's okay.
It's back. And it's back on me.
Well, before we get started with our news roundup of the week, actually it's still kind of left over from E3. First, let's go over some listener/viewer mail. So first up, coming from Scott, you may know him as Putz2000 from the chat room. Subject line, thanks for the E3 coverage and a question. Hey guys, been watching, chatting, and forum posting for a while. Just want you to know how much I appreciate your DI coverage, and in particular the E3 coverage was amazing. Well, thank you for that, Scott. He made a prediction a while back that they were going to release the Disney stuff a little closer to Christmas after kind of the Marvel stuff, the Marvel kind of push. It seems this is the way it's going down. My question is this, not understanding how production schedules go, is it possible that we haven't seen more Disney? The reason we haven't seen more Disney is because production is 2 months behind Marvel. Thanks for everything. See you in the chat room on Monday. Well, Scott, great question. So first off, I'm going to go ahead and actually send this to you, Lloyd, and get your thoughts on this. I know you are not only a Disney Infinity player, but you're also a Skylanders player. So I kind of want your thoughts. So first off, do we think that the Disney coverage is intentional behind Marvel? And if so, do you think that could be influenced by production?
Yeah, I definitely think the Marvel stuff is up first. They want to capitalize on Guardians of the Galaxy coming out. It's a good time to market it. It's new. It's cool. It's something that Skylanders doesn't have, which is superheroes, which is a huge thing for Disney. And then you know that closer to Christmas, they're going to be bringing out all the Disney favorites, maybe around DVD re-releases or something, so that kids can ask for them for under the tree or in stockings or wherever else kids are asking for presents these days. Totally makes sense. Skylanders is doing something a little bit different this year. They've come right out and said, we're not doing waves anymore. We're going to be slowly releasing stuff over the next year. So we'll see which one is a little bit better of a marketing decision. But I kind of like the way Disney's doing it because I love me some Marvel, and I'm going to be buying every single figure, and it's going to be very expensive.
Awesome. Well, so now I'm going to actually go ahead and send it over to you, Sarah. I know that you are not only an Infinity fan, but a Marvel fan as well. Do you think that it's a good thing that they're delaying kind of the Disney news? I mean, we've had a little bit here and there with Maleficent and Merida, but we haven't really heard much more since then. So do you think it's good that they're kind of focusing on Marvel this time, especially since the first one was so Disney-focused?
Yeah, I mean, is Maleficent coming at the same time as Marvel, or is that like two separate dates?
Well, they haven't actually announced it yet. We do think that it's going to be coming out. Well, actually, we have no idea. Some people speculate that it might come out after the Marvel stuff. Some people think that it might come out at launch with the Marvel stuff. So we're not really sure. I don't know if I had to guess, and correct me if I'm wrong in this, Lloyd, but if I had to guess, I'm going to say that they are delaying the Disney stuff until after Marvel. But again, that's just a guess.
Yeah, that sounds like a really good guess.
Do you guys know when Maleficent comes out on DVD and Blu-ray? Do you have a release date on that? Because that might coincide with it too.
That's a great point. No, I don't.
Cool.
Yeah,
good,
no
good
idea.
research.
I'm not seeing anything actually, so it probably hasn't been announced yet.
Yeah.
Okay. I just hope that Alice in Wonderland is in the first wave. I was told that that's something that I have to request at least once a show because I like Turtles as a jerk. But anyway.
So, Steve, do you think... Oh, no, we lost your audio. Do you think that it's a good thing that they're going to be delaying Disney? Or
No.
no, sorry. Do you think that no, you don't. Why is that?
Because I like Marvel stuff a lot, but I really like the Disney stuff, and I think that it should be done sort of together. I see what they're doing, but I mean, I don't know. I personally, I like Marvel stuff, but I would be way more excited if it was sort of a split.
Yeah,
Like,
well, I think if they do like all the Marvel stuff and then they do the Disney, it's gonna totally downplay the Disney because everyone's gonna be so focused on the Marvel that they're gonna forget that Maleficent's coming out and all that.
and Merida and
I mean, they got a lot of Marvel characters coming out.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and we've only actually seen leaked items for playsets being Marvel stuff too, so that's still kind of a big question mark. Duck Warrior Duck, awesome name, in the chat room is saying, I think delaying it is good so we can have cash saved up for the Disney stuff after getting the Marvel content. So that kind of leads to what you're saying, Lloyd. It might be good for that reason alone for the wallet or pocketbook to delay.
It's going to keep the wife happy with me, so she doesn't look at all these bags of figures and she's like, "Are you buying more toys? They're for the kids, honey. They're not for me." Can they play with them? No, they can't play with them, but they're for the kids.
They can use their imagination while it's sitting behind a thick thing of glass, right?
Exactly. Yeah. This hermetically sealed glass pillar that I have, they can just look at it nicely. Yeah, it's
awesome.
You guys are like the
bad.
poster children for exactly what you're talking about, because behind you, they're all nicely wrapped in the original packaging. You know, yeah. Ours get opened on the drive home. Like we can't even use them yet, and they're already being played with in the car. So you're right. There's a big difference.
Yep. That's hilarious. Yeah. Well, I think one thing that I think we're all kind of biting at the bit for is even if they don't give us a release time frame for the Disney stuff, just give us more of the Disney stuff, and I think that's any Infinity fan is really hoping for. I mean, I think the first round really latched on to the Disney fans out there, and now they're obviously trying to capitalize a little bit on that little more universal, well, maybe not universal, but the Marvel fans as well. So just give us more Disney and, release it when you want. Awesome, Scott. Great mail. We appreciate that. Next up is Tom with the subject of Disney Infinity 2.0 Starter Pack. Hi, I'm a huge Infinity fan. I'm sorry, this is, let me try this again. I have the current Infinity, there it goes, and I heard that you can use your portal in Infinity 2.0. So I was wondering if they will release a starter pack without the portal, because I would prefer to save some money and spend it on new characters. Thanks, guys and girls. Love your show so much. Tom, also known as HPTD11 from Australia, another Australian. So, Lloyd, that is one of the people.
Sorry, Tom. I'm going to take this time to sincerely apologize for my earlier behavior.
Well, Tom, actually, we got some clarification on this. This has been a pretty big question mark for a while, but with our interview with JV at E3, we did get some clarification on this. So they are going to be releasing a digital-only version of what they are calling the Toy Box, and this is coming out after the initial release of the Marvel Starter Pack. And so what this is going to allow you to do is use your Disney Infinity 1 base for Disney Infinity 2.0 Toy Box, which also, when you purchase the standalone starter packs or playset packs, you will be able to drop those pieces on your base and use your Disney Infinity 1 base on Disney Infinity 2.0, but again, it will be a delayed release. We're thinking maybe along the lines of a month later. So that is that. So Tom, thank you for your email. We appreciate all the contact we get. So if you want to send us a line, drop us a line, send us a question, info@disneyinfinity.tv, or you can reach out to any of our social media networks. All right, well, that is the reader mail. Oh, one last thing. It's not really reader mail, but thought this was awesome. Ben, our good friend Ben on the show, reached out, and he actually sent something to Mr. JV, John Vignacchi, about the interiors. And so one thing, this is the wrong interior, or wrong tweet by JV. Let's try this again.
The interior of a very dark closet.
Yes. All right, let's try that again. So here's the one that Ben sent. So Ben said, in DI 2.0, can I put a door on the Gravity Falls Mystery Shack in the toy box to make an interior area? JV replied, "Oh yeah, stay tuned," smiley face. So that is awesome. Steve C, I know you are a big Gravity Falls fan. Sarah, are you a fan of the show Gravity Falls as well?
Not as big as him because he watches Disney Channel 24/7, but I've seen a couple episodes before. It's usually like every time I turn on, it's the same episode, but I've seen it. So.
Can I just clarify that she made that sound really creepy? There's really funny shows on the Disney Channel. Gravity Falls is
You're not
spectacular.
helping yourself.
Dog with a Blog is the greatest show ever. So just know any adult can watch these shows and it's awesome. So.
Well, even before Disney Infinity 1 came out, even though I've never really seen Gravity Falls, I do know it's really popular, not only from 30-plus-year-old men, but also Disney fans out there. There's been lots of talk on the forums about Gravity Falls being included in Disney Infinity, and with kind of the latest info, we have seen some Gravity Falls stuff, including the Mystery Shack, and so it's kind of cool that, again, I have no idea the concept of the show, but it sounds like the Mystery Shack is something that exists, and there's probably an interior since that's building it, so it's pretty cool that we might be able to kind of recreate those buildings in game.
Yep, it's really cool.
Thought you might like that, Steve.
For sure. The interior of the show of the Mystery Shack is actually really a big deal at the end of this season, and there's a secret door, and there's an episode that goes into a lot of doors on the inside, and it looks really cool. So I think it'd be awesome. So it's really big. Anybody out there that knows the show, that's not you, would appreciate that part of it because it is great. So.
Yeah, if only they had DuckTales and Cusco.
Well, don't you have something on the show notes about that?
Yeah, that's a perfect segue. So, before we get through the news,
I know, I regret it now.
So something that we
end thing, like a closing.
No.
Initiation at the end. You do it at the beginning. That's the whole point.
Right. Of the first episode. This is the initiation.
So something we do on the show is we initiate any new guest hosts, and
it's true. It is now.
So,
now it's a thing.
As an unofficial theme song of the Inside Infinity show, all of the regulars on the show have sang the DuckTales theme song, and we think it's only appropriate as a new member who's kind of trying to come into the fold and work their way up. You should sing the DuckTales theme song, and even if it's a certain version where you make fun of Steve C, that's okay too.
I want to do the DuckTales. Play the track of yours. Here in Duckburg. No way. I agreed to DuckTales and Cusco, not DuckTales. I want the scratchy version.
What? Is there a remix?
Yeah, you're
DuckTales and Cusco! She likes how I have the voice of a 16-year-old pubescent kid.
Awesome. All right. Well, Steve C, as the heroic man he is, he bailed you out of that. So he went through the initiation for you. So thanks for embarrassing yourself once.
I agreed to DuckTales and Cusco, not DuckTales. There's gotta be like a little I love DI at the end, like he did it. That's the best part.
That's okay. You can always throw up. You can take the place of Lila since she isn't here and throw up a horse sound too.
Do that. Do Disney horses.
How did she do it? I don't remember what she did.
I refuse to help you on this one. Maybe at the end of the show you'll remember how it goes. Yes, Lloyd comes through.
No, that's a horse. Yes. That she did.
Oh, okay, all right.
Like a goat, wasn't it? It was like, like really. It was like
Lila,
goat.
come here. How do you do the Disney horse noise? She did it in the other room.
That's awesome.
All right.
That's awesome. All right. Well, if you feel up to it later in the show, you just let me know, and we'll pause so you can either do
a
the
random
Cusco.
horse sound in the middle of the whole thing.
There you go. Ninjographer in the chat room is saying he's going to make a Eurodance version of the Cusco DuckTales remix. Please do that. Someone out there who listens to the show, please do that. We'll be forever indebted to you.
That's how you type it. You're typing it in perfectly. Oonch, 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 oonch. I always wonder how to spell that, and there it is right there. Oonch, oonch. Thank you. I love it.
Just for you, Steve.
Nicely done.
Too funny. All right. Well, enough shenanigans. Shall we get along and get going with the news of the week? Because we do actually have some stuff to talk about. First up, I don't know if you guys saw this. I thought this was really funny. JV tweeted out today, as a matter of fact, and this was sent in by Mr. Pirate Steven himself. He said, "We got a request from Pearl Jam for a Disney Infinity starter pack in all figs. Kids want to play it while they are recording in the studio." I just think this is funny, and it kind of shows off the reach that Disney Infinity has. I don't know. That's it. Do you guys have any comments on that? Other than Pirates, like I'm pretty sure they could probably afford to buy the starter pack and the figures themselves. But other than that, I did think this was kind of funny.
This is the second Disney-related Pearl Jam news I've seen this week. Did you see them break into Let It Go at concert last week? Did you see that?
I did. Yeah, I bet they're Anna and Elsa fans as well. Disney Infinity fans. I said I'm guessing they're also Anna and Elsa figure fans as well.
If Eddie Vedder is watching this show, I would like him to do a collaborative effort, and I'll do Cusco again with him. I'm a big fan of his work.
Oh, yes, that would be awesome. Cool. Well, thanks for that, Pirate. We appreciate you sending that in. All right, so now let's get along with kind of our main news item of the week. This is going to be kind of our big discussion topic. So with E3, we got a lot of new information, and we did a brief kind of scatter shot of the news last week on last week's E3 recap show. So now we're going to start to delve in a little bit deeper into each one of those topics. And the first one we kind of thought that we would jump into is the figures and how figures are going to work in Disney Infinity 2.0. So this first item here, I think, is something it's really exciting for me as an Infinity fan. And Lloyd, you can probably add a little bit extra to this, but it was quoted in the July Game Informer. Now, as with Skylanders games, characters that are defeated during a mission are temporarily out of play. Players have to either put a new character on the base to continue or risk failing the mission. So, Lloyd, can you just give us a quick overview of kind of how that works in Skylanders to maybe help guide this discussion a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. In Skylanders, when your character dies, he's dead. You have to put another character on the base. So if you have your favorite character that has the biggest badass move, and he dies or she dies, you unfortunately have to take that figure off the base until the next level. It's kind of on a timeout to the end of the level, and you put another character on. I kind of like that. The one thing in Disney Infinity that was kind of weird, where you die and you just explode, and then you'd reappear, and that would be it. I like having a little bit more, I don't know, kind of action thrown in. So if an enemy's coming at you and he's going to hit you and you have no life left, you have to get out of the way. Otherwise, you won't be able to use your badass swords if you're a pirate or whatever figure you're using on the base. I like the fact that they're going to have a bit of a timeout, and they will they won't be able to be in for a little bit. That's a really good addition, and makes it more of a game than Disney before, which was, I don't know, unlimited resets of your favorite character.
Right. Yeah, so Steve and Sarah, now I'm going to send this over to you. So personally, I like this kind of concept because it's going to make me a little more active in the game, and I'm not just going to put down maybe my favorite character and play the whole playset or in the toy box with that character. It's going to kind of force you to switch it up and invest a little bit of time in some of those, I don't know, maybe less used characters. Do you guys kind of like this idea? And is it something that's really going to kind of provide a little bit of extra in that gameplay for you?
Well, I thought it was harsh at first, but it totally makes sense now, because now you have like a motivation to not get hit more. I mean, no one really wants to die, but now you can move out of the way instead of just like take the abuse. That was a huge thing, because it's annoying. What was the Lone Ranger, when we're getting hit on the horse? Mm-hmm. It was really annoying. It's so aggravating. But yeah, no, it makes sense. It gives it more of a challenge, so I think that's a cool addition.
It also adds a level of strategy to it, like Lloyd was just saying. It's not as easy as just plunk down your favorite one and then just blow through the level. There's actually a little bit of strategy that's going to be involved, and I think that adds a different level to the game, which is really cool. I'll tell you, though, I will be very pissed when I put my guy on there he gets killed, and then 3 seconds later I find the vault opening that I need to have him there, and I have to wait because he's dead. That's going to make me crazy. So I'm just foreshadowing right now of me throwing pillows and screaming because he just died, and now I need him again.
Well, what if you only have like one character, you know, like, so, or not like one, but you come with 3 with the starter pack? Like, what if you only have like 3, and then you keep dying, and then you have to just keep switching it, or does it regenerate, and you have to restart from the first one?
Well, actually, that's a great question. Vinyl Nation Kingdom actually reported a little bit extra on this, and in quotes, you can either restart from your last checkpoint, or you can place down a different figure. So if you run out of figures, then I guess you would just start from wherever the last save was, which hopefully wasn't too far back. I mean, I think this is kind of intended to be a gameplay enhancer and not something to impede gameplay. It's, you know, just to make you a little more active and use more of your characters, especially with kind of that leveling up element too. It's going to kind of give you incentive not only to level up based on building up a character, but also to continue from wherever you're at prior to your last save point.
And not in toy box, just in playsets, right?
You know, it's remained to be seen. This is definitely presented as a playset feature, but I don't see why. I mean, there's not going to be playset checkpoints, I guess, unless you make one. You know, well, actually, yeah, because every playset has a checkpoint, even if you don't put one down, and the original checkpoint is where you start. So I could see it working in the toy box, and I mean, for some of those advanced toy box builders, it might be something that is a feature that they actually want to utilize. So we don't know. I mean, I think it's probably more geared towards playset, but it seems like it could work in the toy box.
I like it. I think it's interesting. It adds a different level. I like the slight change up. Makes it a little more, not necessarily complicated, but definitely a little more thought has to go into it. So
definitely.
Exactly. We always said that the playsets were kind of their own little mini games, and Disney was going to be releasing most of their games that way. Well, this makes it more gamey, where there's some repercussion to dying. You can't just try infinite amount of times, or I guess you could, but you lose some of your forward progress if that's the way you want to go.
Yeah. Totally. Cool. Something else that was mentioned around E3, it was actually in a Giant Bomb interview with JV, and it was kind of like, I don't know, it was kind of a behind-the-scenes interview, and it was just something he mentioned briefly, but he said that there might be the possibility of downloadable future figures that may ship as figures, but are currently not on the disc. And this is, I don't know, this is something we've talked a lot about on the show, and if they'll ever do something like this. And this is by no means confirmation of that, but at the very least, it looks like they might be entertaining the idea. I like this idea. I mean, one thing that's a good and a bad thing is the data mining of the game contents when it first is released, to kind of dig into the game files and see what characters might be coming out in the near future. And this might add a little possibility of the unknown and maybe some figures that your hopes and dreams won't get dashed on that. Maybe, I don't know. I kind of dig that. What do you guys think? Do you think that the possibility of future release physical figures might be downloadable? Do you think that's a good thing?
Yeah, definitely. It means that you won't have people day one put their game disc in their PC and rip apart all of the files and figure out all the figures that will be coming out. There could be some surprises because those figures aren't in the game yet. The question is how they're going to do the download. Is it going to be a disc that's going to come with the figures? That would be crazy expensive, and who knows what system you have. They're not going to individually package these. So I would think there would have to be downloadable content to get those figures in. So it wouldn't be downloadable content to purchase the figures. It would be kind of like a game patch that would come down. Since all the systems that are going to have this game essentially all have internet connectivity, that'll be a good thing. It might limit some people if they don't use internet though, but maybe there'll be a warning on the box or something requires update 2 or update 3 or whatever they're going to do. They could maybe get around it that way. But personally, I think it's an awesome idea. They could just keep bringing figures every time a movie comes out, release 3-4 figures for that movie, and make all the kids happy that are going to see it.
Yeah.
I had a really good opinion about this, but this is the problem with having Lloyd on the show is he's so smart, it blows holes in every one of my theories. So now I have to completely agree with everything he just said because I don't remember what I was going to say before.
That's the
Good job,
correct
Lloyd.
answer. That's the correct answer right there.
There we go.
And you can't go wrong.
No, I'm just going to copy Lloyd on everything he says.
Cool.
Hey, I had a question. I've been arguing this in my head, and now I've got the two experts on here and Sarah. Here's my thing, and I'll make it quick. Looking at the next date, and I'm trying to figure out how much money to save for this, is it a good idea? Because I have a PS3 right now. Lloyd and Will, is it a better idea to get the PS4 when the new one comes out? Or is there going to be restrictions on having it? Is it going to be a dumb idea to get the PS3 version? Or do I go all out and just make sure that I'm covered?
That's a great question. Kind of hard to say. If you get the PS4 version, you have it, and that's it. If you have the PS3 version already, you can buy the digital download, which will get you Disney Infinity 2.0, but only on the PS3. From what I can see and what I understand, there isn't going to be a digital download on the PS4, or maybe there is. It's really unclear right now. But if you don't want to buy the same game twice, and you're going to get a PS4 anyway, you might want to pick it up on the PS4. Plus, you can get the sweet collector's edition that comes with the killer base and all the extra figures as well, which is going to be a nice bonus.
Yeah, I think this is a hard question. I think each individual person kind of has to, I don't know, answer for themselves. I kind of look at Disney Infinity as an investment, and I took comfort in the fact knowing that each of the figures would work with whatever new version they came out, and that's going to be the case with 2.0. Feature-wise, you're probably going to be pretty similar. Not like the Wii versus the 360 Wii U and PS3 of the last version. I think really the only difference outside of graphic fidelity is going to be smaller toy boxes, but even with that limitation, you're going to be able to, it's going to tell you. So if you're on a PS4 and you're building a toy box, it's going to tell you, okay, at this limit is where PS3 and 360 owners can't, and Wii U owners, I would assume, at this point is where the limit for those consoles to access this toy box. So just because you have those consoles doesn't mean that either on either side you're necessarily limited too much, but there are going to be a few things here and there, and again, that's why it's kind of up to each individual person. I mean, this is a game it's not just a $60 purchase where you throw down your money and you're set. You have the starter pack or play sets, and then you have each individual figure, so the investment's a little higher, and some people may prefer to keep their current gen consoles and save and use the rest of the money for figures and playsets. So,
well, you just said you said my main concern was smaller toy boxes. Anything that's bandwidth or the stuff that the PS4's got different and it doesn't offer it on the PS3 is going to really bother me. If I can't get all of the stuff that they've designed it for, that's going to really bug me. So,
well, I think since Xbox One and the PS4 came out, games are slowly starting to turn everything into the new one. So I mean, as more things come out, they're gonna start pushing it more and more towards the PS4 only. Especially that's a big hint, is that the toy box is gonna be bigger for the PS4. That's a big hint that they're gonna start limiting you since you don't have the new next generation stuff. So I mean.
Yeah, this generation, it definitely is going to be kind of that cross-generational transition. I would imagine if we see Disney Infinity, well, I don't know, Lloyd, I mean, you've been in the video game space for a long time, and previous gen consoles, whenever new gens come around, they generally stick around for quite a long time. So I honestly wouldn't be surprised if even with 3.0, assuming that comes out next year, whatever they call it, is still supported on PS3, 360, and Wii U.
Yeah, especially Sony platforms, they've always kept their systems around for a few years after releasing games for it. Seems like Microsoft might be doing that with the 360. They're still releasing titles for it, but when the first Xbox was out and then the 360 came out, they didn't make anything. They just forgot that system even existed. So maybe they're changing for that. Sony has always released games for a few years, but I guess... yeah, if you're going to get it anyway, you might want to get the bigger better version, because if you play online with a lot of your friends and they have a PS4, you won't be able to play with them if you have a PS3. Right. So it's tough. It's really hard. It's going to be kind of your own personal preference. I'm picking mine up on the PS4. Even though I played the original one on the Wii U, I don't want to play on that platform anymore. I want to move over to the newer system.
Well, and Sarah, you are kind of making a good point. I mean, you do get some extra features on these more powerful consoles, and so for a lot of Infinity fans, especially a lot of the toy box artists out there, they're going to want every little bit to be able to squeeze every little bit out of this game that they can, and the next gen is definitely the place to do that. People are asking in the chat room if, and Lloyd, you just kind of answered it, so they will not be able to play cross-platform, so a PS3 can't play with the PS4 online. You will be able to share those toy boxes to and from those different consoles, though. The PS3 base will work with the PS4. The 360 base will not work for the Xbox One, so that's also something important to recognize. So cool. I hope that helped answer your question, Steve. So what are you going to do? Are you going to get a PS4, or are you going to just pick it up on PS3? Because here's the thing. If you get it on a PS3, then your cool friends, you're not going to be able to play with us because we have it on PS4. And even though I do give you a hard time, we do kind of enjoy your company, especially watching you play video games. That's comedic value right there. How else? We want to witness you taking 24 hours to beat the Pirate.
Oh, come on!
There it is.
The dumbest thing.
Wait, what happened?
Just kidding. Kidding. Hey, it's been so long since we brought. So no, we just used to give Steve a hard time because it took him a little longer to beat playsets than it did the rest of us, but. In Steve's defense, I never completed 100% of the playset, so
exactly
Steve,
my point, Will. I'm a completionist, so when I play Cars, I get every bubble. Every single thing has to be completed on hard, and it's done. You guys just blow through it, and then you're like, "Oh, Steve, see, you're so lame. It takes you forever." I take it seriously.
Well, no, I do the same thing. I have to do all the challenges first, and then I won't move on until I beat all of them. So. Makes sense.
Yeah, well, the next on the
I just don't get as mad as him, especially if I beat him in the cars because he sucks at cars racing.
No, he doesn't.
Really? I'm pretty sure I'm undefeated.
You are one defeated.
Oh yeah, okay. You beat me once out of 100?
Doesn't matter. What's the next topic you have, Will?
All right. Well, hopefully, Steve, you don't get a Cars playset in the next go round, to save some face. So,
starting my own Infinity show now, where no one's mean to me.
Was it called Outside Infinity?
It is. It already exists. What am I talking about? It's a way better show. I already have the infrastructure built in.
Yeah, you do. All right, so continuing on our figure conversation. So one new really exciting thing about Disney Infinity 2.0 is that the figures are going to have skills and abilities that you can unlock. And this is also going to be possible for Disney Infinity 1 characters, although those abilities are going to be different, those enhancements. So right now we're just going to be specifically talking about the Marvel characters. So each Marvel figure / character is going to have 40 skills and abilities to unlock. In an IGN interview last week with E3, Spider-Man and his friends will now be able to choose from among 40 or so skills and abilities as they level up, making each character feel a little more personal. Those existing toys you already own will also gain access to new skills and abilities that you choose by spending points proportional to your character's level. Again, indications kind of allude to the previous characters not getting as robust of abilities and skills to upgrade to, but I don't know. This is pretty exciting. Lloyd, again, I'm going to throw it to you based on your Skylanders experience, because this is something that has existed in Skylanders for a while, right?
Yeah, Skylanders is all, but it's been really small. What is it? Skylanders, I think you have 6 skills you can unlock. With the in-game currency, you get to choose your path to choose some of them, so you can go one way and have these skills, or another way and have these skills. Having 40 different ones that you can allocate points to, that's going to be fun. I wonder if you're going to be able to unlock them all, or if you're going to actually have to choose. I want my Hulk to be a smasher, or I want my Hulk to have more armor. Or if you can just have everything if you play enough. it's going to be fun to find out anyway. I love Marvel. I love Marvel games. This is just going to be another extension of that.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to. You're not going to be able to max it out. There is going to be respecking. So for those, for people who don't know what that is, respecking is basically kind of wiping your character's ability advancement back to 0, where you still have the points that were allocated to those unlocked abilities. So say you got to, I don't know, level 15 and you get 15 unlocks, 15 ability points to spend. So you wiped them back down to 0. You can then go back and reallocate those 15 points to other places. And we're kind of unclear on how that's going to work. I assume most kind of games that do this, it's popular with MMOs or RPGs. There's a limit to the amount of times you can do this. I would imagine that is going to be the case with this as well. Maybe once you can do it 3 times, or maybe it will cost you spins or something, or sparks, I mean. So, yeah, Lloyd, I don't think you're going to be able to max out your character, but I don't know. That's not a bad thing, right? I mean, it kind of allows you to try new things and play around with different kind of avenues of skill progression.
Yeah, the one thing I'm wondering about is, are you going to get bonus skill points for hitting the milestone levels, like level 5, level 10, level 15, then maybe a big boost at level 20 as kind of a, oh my god, you leveled up 100%, here you go, here's 5 extra skills. Something like that.
That's a great question. According to this article, and again, it's still early, it might change, but they're saying that you are going to get 1 skill point per level. So that means 20 skill points, and there's 40 skills, so only half the amount.
Can I ask the really important question that when I read this on your show notes really got me nervous?
Please.
Am I still going to be able to tape down the bottom of my controller overnight so that my characters go up to 20 while I'm sleeping? Because if not, then I am not going to stand a chance.
Great question. Doubtful.
Oh, are you serious? I'm never going to be able to get any of my guys past 5 or 10.
You know, we heard lots of feedback about that trick from not official feedback, but from the devs and stuff, and you know they weren't against that trick. They gave props to the community for figuring that out, but I'm pretty sure that wasn't the way the game was designed and intentionally designed. So they're probably going to try to prevent that this go around.
Well, I like that part of the game, so I hope they don't change it.
You have a little kid. She probably has little friends. You just say, go play the game for 8 hours and just do this thing, kill each other for 8 hours.
Dude,
it works.
I like that idea. Although playing it until bedtime and then scotch taping the thing down and coming back in the morning and having both screens at 15 is great. So.
Sure.
So Sarah, question for you on this. Do you like kind of this skill progression? You know, with Infinity 1, lots of people were complaining that the figure leveling up, it gave you little other than different colored statues in your Hall of Heroes and sparks to spend on toy spins. So do you think this is a good thing, and is it going to create a little diversity between the different figures in your mind?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I mean, it gives you something to work towards, and having stronger skills and all that kind of thing I think it's a good idea. I mean, like you said, there's not much else to getting skill points from, you know, feeling good about it, unless you cheat, like some people, and take the thing where you don't feel good about yourself.
And I feel really good about it when I'm done.
That's the problem.
Puddin in the chat room is saying there will always be creative ways to farm experience. So I'm
Who
sure.
said that? Which one said that?
Puddin.
Puddin, will you please friend me on Facebook and make sure you keep me posted on how, because I have no intention of doing that all the way the right way.
You know what's great about this conversation is that you just bragged about how you go all in on the playsets and you unlock everything.
Listen, I'm glad you brought this up.
He totally draws the line when it comes to real hard work.
Yeah, but I'm glad you brought this up, because a minute ago I saw something disturbing in the chat room that Sarah doesn't understand. I think it's hilarious.
Oh, no.
Lloyd is in here bragging, and I have to give him full points. In the third hour of the 25th hour marathon, I'm just getting understanding in cars. And Lloyd's, what happened, Lloyd? Your pirate set got erased. Do you remember this, Will? And he was like, oh, man, I'm going to have to go and start all over.
It didn't get erased. I couldn't find one capsule, and I got really angry, so I deleted my save game and started again.
So he goes over, and we see it on a shared screen, and he starts over from the beginning and finishes the whole thing, every capsule, everything on hard, by like, what, 2 a.m.? And I'm still trying to figure out how to get this stupid tractors
all the
at the
quests, all the races, everything, and yeah.
Yeah,
and
so
I can't remember. I was too delirious by that point.
Yeah, I'm glad you got all the hard stuff out of the way early.
Oh, too funny. I can't wait what this year's 25-hour marathon is going to be.
Is it happening again?
Oh, it's definitely happening.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Maybe we could, just to make it even more mind-numbing, we could all like reset the same playset and then do a race from.
Oh, that's awesome. That is a great idea.
That's a horrible idea. Will, you're just doing that to make fun of me. Just admit right now that you're doing it for comedy.
No, you know, with Sarah there, I am confident that you stand a fighting chance this time around.
As long as you don't touch the controller, Steve.
Shut up, Lloyd.
Oh, great. Well, getting back on this figure conversation, so your old figures will be able to be leveled up to level 20 as well. So that's kind of new and exciting. Right now it's level 15, and John Blackbird, studio head at Avalanche, said that this is more of a stat increase than new abilities for the old figures. The new kind of advanced abilities are kind of reserved for the new figures, which is, I don't know, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, you do get some benefit and something new for your old figures, but it also kind of puts the focus on those new figures, and in a way kind of makes you feel like you're getting a little more value out of those Marvel characters as well. Some of those examples of the 1.0 ability increases is maybe an increase in health or an increase of speed. So yeah, I mean, I think this is awesome, and it's something that's great. It's going to, so my Venom character is probably going to look pretty different than Lloyd's Venom character, and that's a great thing that you have a little bit more versatility in these characters. It's not every character goes and gets the blunderbuss from Pirates and is same strength and everything.
Hey, so this is another thing that I have. As a moderate to, as you guys say, lower level gamer, I would
never say that.
No, that's what you're saying. I can read between the lines. Thanks, Sarah. Don't hold back. Are you at all intimidated by all of this stuff like I am? Every time you post something new, I get really nervous that I'm not going to be able to hack it.
Steve, that's actually such a good question, and I'm not even making fun of you right now.
Low-level player, mid-level question answerer. Question asker. I can do that.
So, you know, the game has such a wide demographic of players. You have video gamers, you have family people, you have small kids that play this game, and each one of those may have a different kind of video game skill set. And it's not only just with the content in the game, but it's also the presentation of the game. And I think Disney Infinity, they got kind of dinged pretty bad the first time around with how complicated and unforgiving much of the game was. I mean, there were times when the tutorials in game were really good, and then there were times when the tutorials and stuff where you were kind of just finding your way in the dark. And I do think that they recognize that. So your concern is valid, Steve, but I think it's something that they are going to do a pretty good job of holding people's hands, at least in the initial stages of the game, to kind of teach you how all of this works, hopefully in as little overwhelming way as possible.
Yeah, because as Lloyd pointed out so eloquently before, I definitely need my hand held throughout most of this, even the entry-level games, right, Lloyd? Thank you.
I didn't say anything about that.
You didn't have to. It was right here, Lloyd. I saw it right here.
It was all in the eyes.
It was
all in those eyes. I like Charles in the chat is saying that Steve C's Venom character is going to be watching it on the Disney Channel. So, yeah, I don't know. They have to get the message out accurately prior to launch just about the game, and I think that's something they're recognizing already. I mean, JV even mentioned it in our interview. It's almost impossible explaining everything in the press releases and the limited space they have in some of those press releases. So they're spreading out the info on this stuff. So just because we're confused now, it shouldn't necessarily be taken as a bad thing for the game. They're just, getting bits and pieces of information out as in a strategic manner. So, yeah, great question, Steve. All right. Well, do you guys have anything else about figures before we kind of wrap things up? We were going to talk about playsets, but we're running short on time, so I think we'll save that for next week. So, Steve, Sarah, Lloyd, do you guys have any other kind of burning questions about how figures are going to work with Disney Infinity 2.0, or just anything else you'd like to add?
Can I just ask, it's sort of character related, what's the, I saw something, and I apologize if I pull a Steve C here, right, Lloyd, by asking a question that's already been answered. That's read that the vault spins are going to be different this time. Not the vault spins, but the, the toy box spins. Has that actually been, have people addressed that yet in the toy box, how the spins? Is that going to be this, it's not going to be the same horrific way that we had it before, but do we know what it's going to be like?
So yes and no. We know how it's going to work in playsets, and I think we know how it's going to work in the toy box as well. And Jason actually loves it when I bring this up because he loves to claim this idea. And I'll give it to you, Jason. But
don't give it
apparently,
to him.
Don't give it to him? Okay, no. I'll give it to you, Steve, because I'm sure you mentioned this great idea. Apparently it's going to be kind of this virtual toy store where you buy toys from a toy store, and it's going to be kind of cool. It's going to be each toy isn't going to necessarily cost the same amount, or there might be prerequisite toys that you have to unlock. I mean, they've discussed like the Captain Shield, I think, and for the interiors is an example of this. You're not going to be able to just go out and get the Captain Shield. You're going to have to get a certain toy before that. So, you know how we all had that one toy that we wasted all of our spins on in Disney Infinity 1, and then of course it was always the last spin we'd get.
Coincidental, yeah.
Exactly. Each toy is going to kind of have more of a there's going to be a different tier system for, I don't know, toys that are probably going to be more popular. So I bet that DuckTales vault is going to be maybe a 3 spin, just to use the vernacular of the previous
that makes sense.
Money system. So it'd be 3 spins as opposed to maybe a basic decoration being 1 spin. So
don't give Jason credit, because I clearly remember coming up with this in hour 7 of the 25-hour marathon. I said the shopping toy store experience, and then I remember Jason going, "Wow, that's a great idea." Whoa, was that Lloyd? Can you correct my accent? That was a really horrible accent.
You sounded like Christopher Walken. I heard some Christopher Walken going on there.
It was a little bit, but let's be honest here. He's like a slightly shinier head Christopher Walken. I like it.
Nice.
Love you, Jason.
Just about the whole Toy Store thing, that's similar to how they did that in the Toy Story 3 game, which is basically has a lot of the DNA about Disney Infinity. All the little bobblehead city folk and a lot of the different mechanics came from that game, so that totally makes a lot of sense.
That's awesome. And it makes sense just kind of in the concept of the game. They're all toys, right? So how cool is it to go into, or even if it's just a storefront, but this virtual toy store and be like, ooh, I want to pick that off the wall and buy it.
Yep.
I dig it. Great question again, Steve. Man, you're just knocking it out of the park today.
Questions are up here, humor level and intelligence down here. That's how I roll today's show.
Oh, great. All right, well, before we wrap things up, we do want to have our giveaway for the items. We get a few items from E3. So we are giving away three different kind of packages. The first is this cool, this Disney Infinity glow-in-the-dark digital download. So that's cool. It has a code on it, so you can download it for either the iPad app or the PC version of the game. And we are also giving away these PDP, power disc holders. So two of the people that entered in our on the Disney Infinity Fans Forum website in our thread there got those. So first up we have Atlas Sky won one of those packages. So congrats to you, Atlas Sky, considered third place. Not really third place, but you were picked third. So congrats to you. The second runner or the second place person also receiving those two items is CCR Runner 524. I think you are in the chat, so congrats to you. Hope you enjoy that. And then the big ticket item, the signed JV Wreck-It Ralph figure, signed by the man himself. You probably can't see that because it's all shiny, but you get this awesome character. So Wreck-It Ralph and Elsa are two of JV's favorite characters. So we wanted to get that signed by him. So that is Catskill Hiker is the person who won that. So congratulations to you, Catskill. So if you won one of these, drop us line info at DisneyInfinity.tv so we can get in touch with you about your shipping information. So congrats to all of you. Just want to mention we are actually coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the show. That will be happening in mid-July, and we're trying to cook up something special for that as far as not only a presentation, a fun little show for everyone, but also a fun giveaway for that as well. So be on the lookout for that. Cool. Well, before we wrap things up and thank everyone on the show, want to mention another plug. So Pirate Steven has started a new show which is part of the Disney Infinity TV network and the Disney Infinity Fans Forum. It's a collaboration with the forums, and it is this show is Inside Infinity. That show is inside the Toy Box, and we had a pilot episode, episode 0, released a couple weeks ago, and this Thursday we will be releasing the first episode of that with a very special guest that for anyone who is interested in Toy Box or maybe some Toy Box or some winning Toy Boxes, you may want to be on the listen for that. So just check out either our YouTube at youtube.com/Disney Infinity TV, or you can find us on Stitcher Radio and iTunes. Just look for Disney Infinity TV at either one of those places to not only find this show, but also find Inside the Toy Box. This show was brought to you in partnership with Lila, wonderful. That was great.
Good time.
That was great timing.
Because it was right in the middle of your sentence and a plug. This is why you can't have a 7-year-old do it correctly. Do it one more time. Lila, do it.
It sounds so familiar, like we had heard it a time or two on a special holiday episode of the Inside Infinity podcast. I missed it, though. I missed it.
Yeah, not me.
This show is brought to you, this show and the Inside the Toy Box show is brought to you in partnership with the Disney Infinity Fans Forum, DisneyInfinityFans.com. So the forum is a great community and a great place not only for Disney Infinity related news, but also for trading and rumors and just all around good community and fun place to hang out and chat with fellow Disney Infinity fans. So make sure you check them out. Yeah, I think that is going to pretty much wrap up this week's show. What do you guys, did you all enjoy this week's show? I did. I thought it was a fun show.
It was above average.
It's above average. Well, that's because Sarah was here.
Towards Steve.
Nah, we don't need more verbal abuse.
Yeah, we do.
Lloyd and Will, provide that enough.
You get it from me every day. So.
I do.
Well, well, see, when we hang up, you're still stuck there talking to him, so
Yeah.
we don't want to make it too hard on you.
Physical abuse. A little bit of mental too.
That's awesome. See, we can choose when to talk to him. Yeah.
Yeah. But that part is I volunteered, so.
Exactly.
Why is
I volunteered
No.
as tribute.
No, we love you, Steve. You know that you're one of the OGs of the show. So it's always great having you on. And Sarah, we had a blast having you on as well. Can't wait to have you on the show more often. Did you enjoy tonight's shenanigans?
Yes, I did enjoy tonight's shenanigans. I can't wait for next week's shenanigans and the week after. It's gonna be
Awesome.
a whole Disney shenanigans.
Is there any, I don't know, do you have a muse inside that's just reaching out to sing anything special, or you want to save that for a future
You
episode?
mean like DuckTales and Cusco? We want DuckTales and because I love DNA.
Don't sound like that.
Yes, you do.
No, I didn't.
Anyone that's watching,
You're right.
go look at the video.
No,
and then
Steve, your voice breaks a lot more than that.
Yeah.
A lot more
I was-
cracking.
I think I nailed it. That was completely accurate on my part.
Yeah, well, it was pretty close, but I think if you compare the two of your voices, that might have been more of a bass compared to Steve C's voice cracking. Nah,
Shut
just
up, you
kidding.
guys.
Hey, you did an imitation of me today, and it sounds nothing like me. I just want to point that out. So he was worse.
Steve, care to share?
I'm sorry, we're losing connection. Well, I can't hear you.
Really? Because
All
I'm
right.
fine, and I'm right next to you.
It's weird. Different wavelengths, I
Weird,
guess.
isn't it?
Strange.
This iPad app is really horrible.
Awesome. Well, Sarah, we really do appreciate you joining us and becoming. I think you're going to become a new regular on the show. So glad to have you on the first show, and hope you did have a little bit of fun.
Thank you. I did, and I'm excited for the next time.
Great, Steve, buddy, it's always a pleasure. And I know we do give you a hard time, but it's all in love. You know.
I love it, absolutely. You guys are my favorite people, so thank you for letting me come on again and completely dismantle your show. You know the one thing I love is when I'm on here, you say the same thing towards the last 10 minutes of every show, and that is, we had 3 other things to talk about today, but we'll save that for another one. Because what happens is I just completely wreck everything, so thank you for letting me do it once again.
It's actually just lies. I'm never that prepared. I just want people to come back next week.
See, I'm helping you with episode 48. This is where we get to cover the stuff that Steve C. overspoke last week, so that works.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure you're just a host on the Inside Infinity podcast. You're not doing anything else these days yet, right?
I am not. I have
Okay.
retired from I put all of my efforts and creativity into this.
We can tell. We can try to fix that in the future.
Sarcastic.
Not at all. Lloyd Hannison, thank you so much for filling the Aussie shoes. I guess it would probably be sandals, or do they call them thongs back down under, of Jason, and thanks for kind of co-hosting with me tonight.
Hey, my pleasure. I'm not going to do Australian accent again. I still feel very horrible, but I'm Canadian. I'm too nice to do mean things like that. I can bug Steve C though, but Jason, I cannot do that. But seriously, Will, thanks for having me on. I love doing the show. Love coming on every time that you invite me. So yeah, that's it. Thanks. Check out our show Rezzed over at vgpodcast.com.
Yes, that's actually what I was going to say. Outside of being an awesome Jason Fillon, you run vgpodcast.com, where we not only co-host a show together, but you also have a few other video game related shows as well, right?
Correct. So I love Nintendo. I do a show called Nintendo Pulse, and also big into iOS gaming, and we do a show called Touch of Gaming over there as well, along with D-Rez that Will and I co-host and do each and every week. So do check it out over at vgpodcasts.com.
And although we're not currently doing any Disney Infinity related Twitch streaming, you can also find out some video game Twitch streaming at just twitch.tv/VGPod as well.
Correct. And Steve C and myself, we're starting a new show over at the VG Podcast Network. It's video games are really hard for him, so we Etch-a-Sketch. We play Connect 4 virtually, and maybe a little Operation if we're feeling a little bit more advanced. Watch for episodes of that coming soon.
That was epic. All right, everyone. Well, again, you can find us at YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all of those fun places. And thanks again to everyone who was joining us and chatting live with us on the website. So love seeing you each and every week. And also for those just out there listening or watching after the fact, we appreciate it as well. We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Can't wait to see you next week. But until then, we hope your week is filled with infinite possibilities.
What is life?
Yeah.
And we're out. This is the after show. I know I
Lloyd.
Like Turtles is really excited about the after show.
How long did you have that joke lined up? Because that was really funny.
I'm glad you like it, Steve.
I Like Turtles said best dig at Steve C ever.
Yeah, that's welcome. Thanks, you guys. That's what I'm here for. Comedy. The back end of it, at least.
Well played, Canuck.
Are you talking about that thing in the corner over there? That's an old Mac Plus, not a Commodore 64. Yeah, it doesn't work though, so it's just there to collect dust, essentially.
So this is the yes, Steve C.
I was gonna say I keep on bringing up the 25-hour thing, but that's why I really bonded with Lloyd in the first place. Right in the middle, we all just sort of took apart your office. Do you remember that? You were moving the camera, and you were like, all right, we're all really tired. Let's look through every toy and every object that I have in my office, starting with my old Mac. And you just went through, and you were like, this is this, and this is this. I was like, wow, this is cool. You have more toys than I ever had.
I think it.
Have to collect dust. That's all.
I think it was just at that point we all just kind of need to get up off our butts and move around a little bit because we were so exhausted.
What's the big pop vinyl that you have in the corner?
The pop vinyl.
Guessing
which one
Game
is
of
that one?
Thrones.
Yep.
Which one? Called it.
Yeah.
Why
Daenerys.
can't I see it? Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I saw that before.
Okay.
Daenerys with the little dragon on her hand. It's awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
I need to get that from my buddy. The guy who's obsessed with that character. Mark.
Cool, Sarah. Again, thank you so much. That was a lot of fun. Glad to have
Yeah,
you on
thanks.
the show. I know we've been working on this for a long time, but glad to finally get it started.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I was in the room the whole time, because if there was a delay and I was in the other room, this would have been an abuse factory. You guys all would have just muted my line the whole time.
We don't hold back. It's not like we hide anything. We do it right to your
Yeah.
face.
Exactly. It's not needed. Although it might be kind of fun every once in a while just to kick you out of the room for a little bit.
See, wait a minute. You guys have these group chats without me. I'm thinking we need a group chat without him, and it'll just be like pure abuse.
Whoa! Will, why
You
did your
see that?
eyes just
You
light
like
up
that.
like that?
That's a
Why did
good
you get
idea.
so excited? Why am I being excluded now? That's like the fun thing.
Because I always think, I want to record these group chats, and we're going to start our own.
Well, Steve, we noticed that you didn't follow Pirate after he sent that thing about Twitter about you, because we have group conversations about you all the time there, and actually we even include Sarah then, but it's just, you're not ever on Twitter, so it doesn't really matter.
I need to get on more often then. If I knew you guys were talking about me, I'd look at that stupid thing every once in a while, but I can't. Now I know.
Oh, too funny. All right, everyone who's watching the after show, thanks again for watching, and we're going to go ahead and end the broadcast now, and we will see you next week. Steve was saying bye. He was waving.